Hello, thank you again for joining me on the Football and Feelings podcast. Today I was speaking to an old friend of mine, Jake Coare. I don't want to say that Jake suffers from Asperger's because, to be honest, how I see it, he's excelled with it. He does an awful lot to raise awareness for autism and Asperger's, depression and anxiety as well, as he feels that these subjects are all close to his heart. He can also be seen doing work with GoonerFanzine, which by the sounds of it has really helped him just channel his passion for Arsenal and football generally, to be honest. We spoke about how sport helped him recover from once being in a mental health ward and feeling ready to end his own life at one point as well. We touched slightly on the coronavirus pandemic, but of course things are changing so quickly that maybe some of this information will be outdated by the time it's released. But anyway, I'll post the link so you can find Jake on social media. But do the same for us. Find the Football and Feelings page and give us a like and subscribe. Cheers. So during a strange time, Jake, obviously it's very strange for everyone. How are you sort of coping? How are you getting on? What's your daily routine like during the lockdown?
Walk the dog, play a load of Xbox, listen to what my nan has to say, watching Loose Women repeats, binge watching Disney Plus.
You don't strike me as the target demographic for loose women, to be honest.
I don't like Loose Women. It's nothing else on. The TV's, everything's been stopped now, isn't it? In terms of television, you ain't getting really much live content.
Does it bother you? Does it bother you having to sort of stay indoors a bit more than normal? Does that bother you?
Yeah, I'm quite an active person, like going out. I like to go for walks. Only been able to go out once a day. It's just quite weird. Today I would have been at Arsenal versus Norwich, which is, I miss going to football. I miss seeing people. It's just weird because our generation's not used to doing something like this.
Yes, it's unprecedented for all of us, I think. A big question, how would you go about the end of the season? What would you put in place?
I think we need to be really careful here because there's arguments for both sides. If we can't put unnecessary strain on the health service, because if football's there, you have to have ambulances and the police. Especially if it's a closed door game, we're going to get fans going to the grounds because you saw that with PSG Dortmund, the last games that were actually played. You had thousands of fans lining the streets. You can't really have the police dealing with that at this time, but you can see why the season should be cancelled. But it's not really fair on clubs like Liverpool, Sheffield United that have had brilliant seasons. I think the most obvious thing is if the season gets abandoned, that you let the top two teams from the Championship be promoted, but no relegation. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of looking forward to seeing what they do put in place. Just almost so the sort of anxiety about it happening is over. But yeah, there's no way to make a decision which is going to please everyone. But I think you're quite right. I think a lot of people probably wouldn't have thought about the ambulances and the police that are necessary on a game day. I don't think people would have thought about that too much.
Especially if you're a London club, you've got the tube running at reduced capacity in a minute. So you've got people who will try and go to the game just to see what they can get in or anything, like chancing their luck. I don't think you haven't got the infrastructure for behind closed door games at the minute. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, you're quite right, and we're just not used to it, are we? I mean, everyone's saying how it is all about the fans, but I mean, other things have to come first at the minute, I guess.
I think the problem is the clubs have got to look at this financially. You've got sponsors who pay per season. Sponsors, if the season's null and void, they could try and get their money back. Because you've got, especially airlines like Fly Emirates, who are now grounded all their fleet. They would try and recover some of their losses from Arsenal, Real Madrid.
Yeah, good point. They're not getting the TV coverage they're used to.
You've got TV companies who would want their money back, with Sky, BT, foreign companies. The problem is if you cancel the season, you have risk of leagues going bankrupt.
Yeah, especially for lower league clubs, that's going to be really difficult because they're so reliant on the match day tickets that they sell, and there's a lot of clubs who are having really good seasons at the moment, and it will be like Leeds, for example, that'll be a massive gain financially for them to get promoted. So the risk of that being taken away from them is huge.
I think the league's also got to worry about, because if you cancel the season, you have the risk of clubs suing the league. The leagues, like Leeds could sue the FA for loss of income for not being promoted to the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
You could have. I'm not saying so and so will sue. You got Liverpool who would be outraged. They've just lost the winnings from the league.
Yeah. Yeah, quite right. Obviously, as I know, you're probably the biggest Arsenal fan that I know. I think I used to love speaking to you in school about Arsenal because you just knew everything about it. Do you think football as a whole, in terms of like your mental health, do you think football as a whole has given you like a bit of a release?
It has, because it's like you got a few hours a week where you just don't. You get to shout at a bunch of players. Because I like going to the men and the women's team games. The women's team games are actually more enjoyable sometimes than the men. That's how I find it. But you got football. Football does help people's mental health because it's a distraction to watch, see your friends, go to the pub, that sort of thing. You just have. If football's just like a release for a lot of people.
Yeah, and obviously yourself, you're quite well involved with the community around Arsenal as well, aren't you? So you get involved with a lot of like club events, charity events, and media work as well, don't you? Could you talk us through some of the things that you've been doing recently?
So I'm part of GoonerFanzine as an occasional pundit. I don't do all the games and all the podcasts, but it's a great insight working with GoonerFanzine. I've been involved with Visit Miranda, Arsenal sleeve sponsor. Recently attended. It's really interesting learning about the country of Miranda. I used to be involved in football mental health walks. Not involved in that anymore. It's just I like being involved. I like raising awareness. I've been doing the Arsenal Players World Cup on Twitter recently to raise a bit of money for the NHS.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, how's that getting on?
Interesting. It's a lot of hard work than people make out because you have to do the table. You got people going, "That's not fair. So and so's been drawn against someone's."
Yeah, I saw. I saw a few people on Twitter kicking off a little bit about some of the tie breaks that were on.
But I didn't do the draw. Like I could have just done the draw, but I just pick and choose who plays who.
Yeah,
But I chose to do it randomly because this mitigates me being accused of being biased. Because you know me, I'm the biggest Thierry Henry fan going. I could easily give Thierry Henry the most easiest route to the final if I wanted to.
That's true. You could have had Omri against Francis Jeffers, Sebastian Squillaci, all of them. Kim Kallstrom.
Yeah, we actually named some of those in the worst Arsenal team of the decade when we was filming for GoonerFanzine recently.
Who else made the team?
Trying to think, the goalkeeper. I'm trying to think. I nominated Lucas Fabianski. Dan from the Islip Gazette nearly wanted to lynch me on the day.
I think I'd have to be on his side there, Jake. I think out of the top six, I think he's the best keeper in the league.
So I think it was Parks. I'm trying to. Marlon Shamak was in the striking position.
Yeah, Gelhead.
Yeah. You had Parks Jun, that player that we signed.
Yeah.
It was really interesting because he was really getting passionate about who we named in what position. I think we put as white. I think it was Stefan Leipsteiner we put as white back because we didn't want to. We felt bad for putting Carl Jenkinson in there because he was living over the Arsenal fans' dream.
He was, yeah, and it just didn't quite happen for him, did it? He just sort of plateaued at a certain stage. I think maybe got as good as he could potentially get. But yeah, you're right. I remember he scored his first goal for Arsenal, and it was amazing to watch. It felt like you scored it as a fan watching.
I think it's this. I think it is lovely when fans get to play for their club. You see players that get involved with Arsenal. You see Thierry Henry became the biggest Arsenal fan when he played for the club. It's interesting. It's different. You see some players who love the fans and some players. You get players who are absolutely lovely fans. You get some who don't. In every sport you get that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I remember I remember when we were in school. Actually, you were showing me the picture of when you met the whole team, didn't you? You had like the big
Yeah,
squad photo.
it was the junior gunners used to do this like a Christmas party. You used to watch the team train in the morning, and then the players would get changed. It was at Highbury, and then you went up, you watched it in the North Bank, and then they took you around to the clock end, and then you got to have pictures in the hospitality areas with the players.
Mm.
Because I don't think they don't do it anymore. I think it's the so many risks. Because I actually one time got to have my picture taken on the pitch with the team.
Yeah, that's the picture. I think I remember. Yeah, I mean, I must admit, since then, I haven't really. If they did do that sort of thing now, I imagine they'd be posting it on social media. So I presume they're not really doing it anymore.
The magazine shut down. That's why the competitions all died out.
Mm.
That's what's because I actually was sad. I actually put my hand on the Emirates glass and just kept touching it because I knew I'd never be able to do that again.
Wow.
You had
Okay,
players,
go on. Sorry, Jake.
you had players like Fabregas and Van Persie who were lovely on the day.
Yeah, were they speaking to everyone?
Yeah, Van Persie was saying nice pick of shirt because I had his name on the back of my shirt.
That is good to know. It's a shame that the fans turned on him a little bit.
I sort of see why Van Persie left Arsenal, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not.
I mean, yeah, the proof was in the pudding in his first season, to be honest. I mean, he goes and wins a trophy straight away.
Yeah, so yes, crack on with our questions.
Okay, yeah. So I thought we could start around school, Jake, because I remember being in class with you. We had drama class together, didn't we? And although
Do
you
you
had,
want to
go
do you
on.
want to leave the certain object that was used against you in prison?
I know what you can tell that story. Go on.
Well, the time I lobbed a mobile phone at you back in the day when they were used to be heavy bricks.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, that was a tearjerker. That one. It hit me right on the nose, if I remember rightly. My eyes wouldn't stop watering.
I think John were glad when they got rid of me, to be perfectly honest with you. It was sort of in between periods.
It was a fun class though. But I remember you had like a group of people around you then who you got on well with, didn't you, in that class? But I think it's fair to say for you, I know we've spoke about this before, there were times when school wasn't particularly easy for you, right?
I think the problem is where I have autism, some schools ain't really set up for that sort of thing because you also got to remember schools have limited budgets.
Mm.
Schools have limited budgets. Everything the public sector is strained immensely. And you're not being funny. You have me who likes to walk off when he feels like it.
Could you explain for our listeners how autism affects you specifically? Because obviously it's a spectrum and people experience it in different ways with different strengths and
So I have
weaknesses.
Asperger's. I have Asperger's syndrome. So half my brain runs fast and my other half brain runs slow. I'm using hand gestures here, even though we're not got a camera, because it's just how it's how I used to describe it, because you get obsessions like one of mine is Arsenal. You get people, you have different interests. You can excel in one subject and be awful in the other. Like my weaknesses are definitely building and cooking.
I mean, I think me too. To be fair, Jake, I think I share the same weaknesses with you there.
I think autism's getting more understanding in this day and age because we've got the use of social media. But back in the day, it was really because you didn't really have when we was in school, we didn't really have the internet as we have it today, did we really?
No, it was only really it was in like specific rooms around the school, wasn't it? You might be able to access the internet, so it was a
And it
little
was
bit
very limited
different.
what we could use.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, so do you think how did having Asperger's, how did that affect your time in school?
I don't really enjoy my school days, as I've previously gone on record on loads of subjects. I think it's just because you have some people who are just absolute so and so's. I'm not going to swear because otherwise I'll get this demonetized.
It's okay, don't worry.
But you get some people who are just absolutely nightmares, and some people who are lovely.
Mm.
I just think I think it's just how people choose to behave in schools because you have some people who just want to act cold to their friends. That sort of sometimes.
Yeah, it's an especially in like your teen years, your lower teen years, everyone's sort of trying to one up their friends, aren't they? And they're all sort of showing off. And it's a shame that unfortunately, like yourself, you were you were probably like the butt of those jokes at some points. I'd like to think that now these days it's not quite the same in school, as like you said, with more awareness, and just more general understanding from the students and the teachers.
I think it's because I think it's because I think they train better now. The teachers how to deal with students, because back in the day you didn't really have much of the schools were not really. Because I'm not really funny. We didn't. Sometimes I had a year was not very useful, as you all got to admit.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah.
I had a year
So
was not the best discipline in it. I mean, I think he was the butt of most of our jokes.
yeah, I mean, yeah, he was a nice guy though, bless him. So
It was lovely, but I think he had the worst year he could have got.
yeah, I mean, there was a lot of mischievous students in our year at school for sure. But you could definitely, you can spot though, if you meet though the same people now, you can sort of tell that they probably did misbehave a bit badly in school. But there's quite a few that now that I meet, and you realise how much they have grown, and
Yeah,
you almost would think they were different people.
yeah, I think it is. I think you can't judge people on their school days because you don't know what their home life is like. You just don't know anything with school.
Yeah, good
Schools,
point.
society's really changed in the last since we've been at school, which is nearly 10 years, which makes me feel really old.
So would you say was school sort of your first memory of having to deal with like your own mental health or your mental well-being?
Yeah, because I used to get down quite regularly. I sometimes used to make myself physically sick, so I didn't have to go into school.
Mm.
I think it's this. I think mental health backing up when they don't really teach. They didn't really teach us about mental health awareness in school.
No, it was like it didn't exist, wasn't it?
I think we was made to find out a lot of subjects. I think the problem when we was in school is that a lot of things weren't taught that were modern day, that were relevant to when we were growing up.
Yeah, you can't right. Yeah.
I think schools have changed that now, where they teach more about life skills. But back in our school days, it weren't really.
Mm. So
It was just
could you tell us a little bit about your sort of journey in terms of mental health, how you sort of how it affected you, and how you sort of got over any humps that you hit?
so. I really started suffering because I was struggling to find work. As people with autism struggle to find permanent employment. I had previous work with a member of parliament, which I probably won't discuss in case he has me in case he has me in a cult. But yeah, I think it's my mental health. I had to take a job in a call center. Could you imagine someone with autism working in a call center?
Mm.
That is the worst mix you could ever give. So I really struggled after that because if you resign from a job, you're not allowed to sign back on. So I was struggling financially. I was just fed up. I was thinking of taking my own life. I posted on Facebook. I was taken to this assessment centre, and the staff are really horrible in there. They lock you in a room. It's like a posh prison cell. I
I
actually
remember
screamed.
sorry to interrupt you there. I remember seeing that post you posted on Facebook. Unfortunately, I saw it about a week too late, I think. Um, but I know a friend of mine and yours that we know from school. I know she contacted. Did she contact you directly, or did she contact your relatives then when that
That's a
happened?
bit later on, but I'll get on to. Do you want to get onto that now?
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, we'll do it later. Don't worry.
So I'll get onto it when she. So yeah, it was like a posh police cell, really much. I got myself because I actually had tickets to Arsenal Norwich that day. Actually,
Oh, what a hindrance! Really, just ruined that weekend, didn't it?
I know. So I wanted to get out before so I could get to the game. I think I got there. I think I got there just before kickoff. They won 1-0. Danny Welbeck.
Oh, lovely stuff.
Yeah, but the staff were really horrible in there, so I got chucked out. I can, me, you know what I can be like when I'm in a mood. I can absolutely terrorise the world if I want.
So how did you end up in there then?
Because someone called the police, and then they said, I think the police got called. I was on my own then, so it was just you just had no one to speak to. It was in
Mm.
London because I was staying with family, and I had a row with one of them, and it was the staff there weren't very nice. You felt like a criminal. That's how I actually felt that day. because you're searched by the police. You have your phone taken off you. I think they kicked me out because I managed to get my phone back when they said to call someone. I didn't hand it back to them. And I think they kicked me out because I was being held hostage.
Okay, so you've ended up, what is that classed as? You weren't sectioned, right? Are you sectioned?
It's quite a complex one. I checked this with mental health work when I was in the mental health ward, which I'm going to come on to in a second. It doesn't technically get classed as a formal sectioning. It's a police section something. I think the problem with the police is they're really understrained. They can't. The police are. It was London, so the Metropolitan Police probably have more cases than anything to deal with. I think, and so I got discharged. They were meant to speak to my GP, but that one never got happened. That they never referred it to them. And then so do you want to get onto the mental health ward now, which is the
sure. Yeah, if you can sort of walk us through what that's like.
So my mental health got really worse, and I deteriorating because I was struggling to find support because the mental health support in all around the UK is stretched as it's publicly stated, and you have people. I think it's being more erased now because I actually checked the money. I was speaking to a charity worker. I can't name the charity because I could dog them in it. They said that the government's money that they're promising to mental health is pretty much money that's been cut and just been brought back in. So I was assessed. I was feeling really low. I called 111. I had to waited an hour in A&E. And then once you're obsessed, they said to spend time on the mental. They recommended I spent time on the mental health ward because I had depression, suicidal thoughts, and anxiety. And the wards on the mental health are not really good. You don't speak to a specialist as they say you do. You just sit and watch TV all day, and people go out for fags.
So your experience in the ward wasn't really productive. It was more like they just wanted to have you somewhere where they knew you wouldn't be a risk to yourself or maybe to anyone else at some points.
Yeah, because you just don't. I don't think they have the staff. You don't speak to a specialist. You only see a mental health doctor for 10 minutes a day, and they've got to cover mental hospitals in the local area. I think that is the problem with mental health. It's really underfunded.
Yeah.
You don't get the support. You got the counselling list is longer than the season ticket waiting list at Arsenal, I presume.
Yeah. I mean, even now, people looking to get counselling on the NHS, they can be waiting about 6 to 9 months for their first meeting. So,
and that's just an assessment. Then you got to wait again. That's the problem because I think then people having to finance itself, and they're running into financial difficulty because if they're on low income, they're paying for counsellors, and not really funny. Counsellors ain't cheap.
Yeah, you're quite right.
Then they're funding that themselves. They're adding to their money worries because a lot of people with mental health do run up money issues as well. That's the problem. Because mental health, people can get addicted to gambling, gaming through mental health.
Yeah, it can be any sort of release, can't it? Just from how they were feeling. So when you were on the mental health ward, what did the sort of worst day of your depression feel like?
It was when someone in the 2 rooms down tried to cut their own wrists. Because they search you when you go in. If you go out and in, they search you completely.
Yeah.
And you can't. I don't know how they did it because they don't let people have access to scissors. They give out razors, but they supervise you if you want to have a shave. I don't know how they got hold of the razor, but they tried to cut their own wrist. You had people trying to bang their heads against the wall. Someone tried to climb up a tree and jump. You do get this. I also think the problem was bed shortages. They chucked out one girl who had alcohol issues because she was on voluntary. Not when you don't a section, but you're voluntary there. So she used to go to the pub. They chucked her out, and then the next day, the she was readmitted a few hours later. She just couldn't cope. That's the problem with the mental health services. You got people just being readmitted, like regulars, because they just can't cope on. The support's not really there. You have the home treatment team, which I was under, and they don't really support you. They just give you tablets and that's it. They leave you to it.
Yeah. So was that the sort of conditions you were on for you to leave? Was it they'll give you medication and that's sort of what
Pretty much,
it's
they
going to
just give you
be?
2 weeks. When you leave, you get one follow-up call, and then you get a mental health nurse. My mental health nurse was lovely. She kept me on for about 9 months. But you have staff. You get some departments like the mental health wards and the home treatment team that need to get you off quickly because they're limited numbers. Because mental health, especially because there is a bed shortage because you've got people being taken all over the country now for mental health because it's just how bad services are. There's not enough because we had a mental health ward in Clacton. They've shut that for some reason. There is a mental health bed shortage in the country.
So
and the problem
so could you sort of talk us through your exiting of the mental health ward, how that came about, and then sort of how your mental health continued from that point?
So I was just like, I want to go now, and because I was on voluntary, if you ask them to leave, they can decide yes or no. If you try and leave by force, they could actually section you if they don't think you're ready to leave.
Okay, so for you, they obviously felt that you were ready to leave. Did you feel like you were ready to leave, or was it more of like they needed a bed?
I felt ready to leave. I asked them, I said, can I leave? I went, I won't leave straight away. Notice if you leave straight away, they can't really put the support in place. So the doctor said I can leave. As soon as I said that, I started packing up on my room. I actually had a sweet drawer. When I was allowed to go out, I used to go to Morrison's quite really to get sweets because hospital food isn't very nice. They just reheat it. They get frozen meals, they just reheat. So I just used to have a sweet drawer. And when I was leaving, I went, sweet drawers available for anyone who. I just took all the sweets and took them into the living room area. I went, all yours.
So you had your own little tuck shop going on in the mental health ward.
Because I used to have to go shops for people because the people who were sectioned.
Yeah.
So I used to go shops for them Sometimes they even work for the staff.
So how did you get on with the medication when you left?
I think the problem with the medication is you can get side effects. Like my one was, I was putting on weight. I was very sleepy all the time. This is especially when I was under the home treatment team because they gave me sleeping tablets. And it just pretty much turned you into a zombie. You can't keep your eyes open even when you're not on them. I think the problem is I think medication they isn't just the answer. I think because people don't want to take because of the side effects involved.
Yeah.
Because my one was I was putting on loads of weight. I couldn't stop eating because the medication just made me hungry all the time. I actually spoke to my GP and he said this is the case. And the problem is if the mental health teams have signed it, the GPs can't change it.
Right. So then, did you stop taking them on your own accord, or did your GP recommend?
This is where we got to the story where I'm not going to name the person here, but it's when I stopped taking them because I was just fed up with the medication, how it was making me feel. So I just stopped taking them, and you think you're fine because they told me because it's still in your system for the first few weeks you still think you're fine, but afterwards you get down. Because I think this was when Arsenal won the FA Cup that year, so that was one of the happiest days of my life during that time. But a few weeks later, I just felt really low. I just wanted to end it all. And I wrote on Facebook, this is when the person found out. She was actually in Australia at the time.
Now, what did you write? What did you write on Facebook?
I was just fed up with life, that sort of thing. I can't exactly remember the post now because I try and block those sort of things out. I believe in positive thinking, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I try and believe in positive. I talk about it in blogs occasionally, but other than that, I try not to look on it like things I've wrote. Like I don't rewatch my old work or reread it. That's how. Because I just think I try and be productive in terms of mental health. I don't want to look back on everything I've done.
Yeah.
I only try and look back on the positives,
Hmm.
because I think it's because one of the nice things from my mental health is I actually got a letter from Arsene Wenger.
Oh, really?
Someone I wrote a vlog about how I love the club, and I actually got a letter from the club a few weeks later, signed by Arsene Wenger. And someone told me he never used to copy and paste letters; he just used to write them from the heart.
Oh, wow, nice.
Wenger, he was really a nice person when it came to that, because they said when Santi Cazorla had gangrene in his leg, he gave him a year's contract so he didn't have to worry about being paid.
Wow.
He knew it would affect the wage buddy, but he still did it anyway just to help him out.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I
I
think
didn't
that's the
know that.
story. I think that's the problem with people don't see that Arsene Wenger's really a people's person. He loved Arsenal.
Yeah, well, he was the sole reason for a lot of players to join the club, wasn't he? A lot of people said that after a phone call with him, they were basically sold the idea.
Because you see players that wanted to. Henri loved Wenger. He still calls him boss when he used to do punditry.
Yeah.
You have Ian Wright, who didn't play for him for long but loves Arsene Wenger. Because I actually was due to talk with Arsene Wenger at the end of the month, but that's been postponed as well.
Oh, I'm sure that'll be rearranged for you, though. Don't worry.
I just want to hear, because I felt sorry for Wenger, the abuse he used to get, because social media is a problem with mental health these days.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because you had Wenger getting abused non-stop on social media, wishing.
I think the part of the problem with that is that social media has given every single person a platform to speak, to give their opinion, but those opinions aren't always valid.
Because you don't know what happens. No one knows what happens behind the doors at things at Arsenal.
No, of course not. No.
No one knows what happens behind closed doors. Social media is just a small insight into people's lives, but the problem is social media does affect so many people's lives in many ways. You get high profile trolling, like you had Caroline Flack.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because I actually wrote Chris Whitty, the medical director who appears on the government's medical on the NHS. He's been getting abused because how he looks.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes,
Because I put a tweet
it's unbearable.
These are the same people that were treating kindness about Caroline Flack, and I actually looked at some of the abuse that people were sending to him. I didn't retweet or anything. And these were the same people that were saying we need to be a kinder society, but they were tweeting about how a person looks. This man was he's helping to save lives.
Yeah, it's like people don't really have a filter. So they before they've even thought about something all the way through, they've already tweeted it, which is unbelievable. But then like you said, they're the first people to criticize others for doing the same thing.
Because I think that is you get players now. You see Squadron Mustafi, Granit Xhaka, who when they have bad games, when Xhaka told the fans to do something, when the Palace game was on, because I was on GoonerFanzine, I said 2 wrongs don't make a right. Granit Xhaka should not have sworn at the fans, but the fans should not have been cheering and booing him off the pitch.
No,
and he said,
it was that was quite horrible to watch. Actually, it felt like we were watching something from Gladiator times, and a man's being booed out of the Colosseum. It was very strange.
I was at the game, and it felt awful to hear him being booed and cheered off the pitch.
Yeah,
because when I was there, when his number was put up on the board, people were cheering like they scored a goal. I think the problem is players are the fall guys for how the club plays. Because Mustafi, when the year before when we played Palace again, when he conceded to the late Palace goal, his wife had to shut off her social media because there was abusing her because her husband let in a goal.
Yeah, it is sad to see. Okay, sorry, Jake. We've gone off track slightly. Let's go back to your story. Then we'll reflect on a positive note to end it.
I always seem to distract. Yeah, so you just get I've been lucky with my mental health because I managed to do so many amazing things out of it.
Yeah, so that's sort of what I was going to ask. So after that situation happened with what you wrote on Facebook and how you were feeling, and you were sort of ready to end it all, in a way, from that point, how did you pick yourself back up and how were you grasping at positive things from then on?
I know it sounds selfish, but I've decided just to cut out negative people out of my life. I just can't cope with being people talking me down. Because you just, I know it sounds selfish from time to time, but I think sometimes you do have to be selfish when it comes to your mental health, because other people can affect your own mental health.
Absolutely. I don't think that's selfish at all, to be honest. I think it's one of the easiest and most instantly effective things that you can do is cutting people out that don't heighten yourself, really.
Because I think you do have to be careful, because you can't sound too selfish, but you have to think of yourself sometimes with mental health. Because no one else can help your mental health, but it's just you who can help you.
Yeah. For you, it was mainly just cutting people out. Was that the main thing that sort of helped you get into a better state of mind?
I try and be positive. I have things I enjoy. I like going to watch boxing when I can. I like going to watch Arsenal. I like going to the Grand Prix each year. I like watching it on television religiously, as you see on my Instagram stories. I get up at sometimes silly o'clock to watch the practice sessions.
Oh, it's unbelievable, Jake. I always see you up at like 3 or 4 a.m. watching random practice sessions.
I know. I actually got the worst time was when I was at Silverstone, and it was England winning the World Cup. Knowing the World Cup when everyone was we're going to win this. Football coming home till 4 a.m.
Jake, we were going to win it though. There was a period of time when we were definitely going to win it.
We had hope. This is actually a true, because they had the England match. The England match was going to start as soon as the qualifying ended. When I was there, so they said, "Can you please all stay to watch the Formula 2 race?" And the whole stand emptied out.
Of course, it's obviously it's not nice. It's not nice for the Formula 2 racers, but still, I mean, no one's going to miss that.
The England race, the England match. But yeah, mental health. You got to find things that you got people who enjoy watching sports. You got people who enjoy doing sports. You have people who like photography to help. People have to have their own releases. I can't say do so and so because it might not suit another person.
Of course, yeah, of course. But the main thing for you was to get involved, watch as much sport as you were into, and sort of, because like you said, that's one of your passions that you've got.
Because I've been lucky to meet the people that I've met. Because you get people going, how can you suffer from mental health with all the people that you've met? Because I've met people like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Tony Adams, Thierry Henry. You meet so many amazing people. I'm just lucky. I don't know how I do it, because you always get people going, how have you met all these people?
Yeah.
But I think you just got to find something that helps your mental health, because you can't say do so and so because it doesn't suit everybody.
Of course. Do you feel like you have a support network around you now?
I do, because I have people from GoonerFanzine. I have I've met loads of people from doing mental health. Palace fans. I mean, I used to do mental health walks.
Yeah.
GoonerFanzine. People that I know from Arsenal who I sometimes go to the pub with before the game, which I never used to do. I just used to go to the game and then go home.
Yeah, I remember you told me you always used to get into the stadium basically as soon as it opened, didn't you? So you could sit there and read the programme.
I still do that, to be fair. But luckily I didn't. That's how I met Robert Chris, because I had to wait because my colleague has my membership ticket to Arsenal.
Oh.
Because we share, because it's just easier. So I had to wait for him, and it was coming in from my boss who's sitting in the press box. So I was waiting by the press media entrance. And so and behold, Robert Perez came out.
Wow. Okay, so I've got sort of 2 questions for us to sort of finish on with a bit of reflection and some positivity. Would you, with regards to your mental health, what would you say is the most important thing that you've learned about yourself?
You have to look after yourself, to be honest with you. You can't just you sometimes have to think of yourself. I like to stay positive thinking. I don't look at social media. I don't read comments on social media. Because when I first started going to fans, and I used to read the comments about what people used to write about me.
Yeah.
And I just stopped reading them.
Yeah, it's a dangerous thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, my boss told me to stop reading comments. So I've actually done. I've done some amazing things. I dressed up as an eagle and actually raised money for Calm.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that picture.
That every Palace didn't have a mascot. It was Dulwich first Palace under 23s. They didn't have a mascot that day. So Dulwich just asked, could I walk round?
Amazing.
And whatever money you raise goes to the charity.
Great stuff, Jake. Okay,
And
sorry, go on.
And I was absolutely sweating buckets afterwards.
Oh man, I bet, especially after that walk as well.
This little kid, when the suit was starting to deflate, hugged me, going, "You're not fat anymore."
How nice.
The children were lovely. They all wanted pictures with the eagle.
That's great, Jake. That is
And
great.
they looked on social media, people going, "He actually is an Arsenal fan." So I was at the Emirates Cup the next day.
I feel like you might have sort of answered my final question, I think, in a way. I was going to ask, what about yourself are you most proud of?
I've done many things I'm proud of. Doing a blog, raising money for charity, helping do some mental health walks, being part of GoonerFanzine. I'm proud of everything I've achieved in life. Because at the moment, I've just got to look back on things I've done and be proud. Because I've got to admit, a good day, nothing lasts forever.
Yeah. I mean, you really have. Sorry, go on.
Something could end suddenly one day. You just got to think of things. That nothing. You got to think yourself. You could die tomorrow. I know that sounds negative, but you just got to be positive all the time because you never know when it will end.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's fair to say, Jake, you have done some amazing things, and you've put your sort of knowledge of your own mental health on the line to help other people as well. I think we'll wrap it up there, Jake. But if you can you tell our listeners where they can find you, what social media you're on, and
all my social media, Instagram, Twitter is Jake Coare 14. My Facebook blog is Jake Coare blog, and I just have a YouTube, Jake Coare. Only one on social media, that makes it quite handy.
Excellent, you've got the gap in the market there. Great stuff, Jake. Hopefully next time I see you, it'll be at an Arsenal game.
Yeah, when we're all allowed back there.
Yeah, when we're all allowed outside. Top man. Cheers, Jake.
No worries.
Take care.